So I just purchased this brand new 2025 Honda CRF300LS, the low seat version here, but I'm really excited to try out the 2025s as they've done some significant changes on them. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But there will be a lot more coverage coming on this bike, from first rides, from mods to multiple other rides, and all sorts of good content coming down the road. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for some of those. But first off, in this first video, I want to go ahead and take a look over of this, talk about some of the differences. We'll look at that suspension, but there are multiple other differences as well I want to show you. And there's only one area we can start by talking about the 2025s and the improvements and changes, and that is the suspension. Honda stated they upgraded the front and rear suspension, or stiffened it up a little bit. We all know on the previous version that was the biggest flaw on this bike. It was incredibly mushy. So sitting on it, you can see it's still bouncy. I don't know if I would say it's soft. The next video will be the first ride, so we'll kind of go through some terrain on that and really get a feel of it. But what I will tell you I noticed difference is whenever I sit on it here, it doesn't just like sink back on me. So I'm just going to sit on it regular. Instead of, you jump up and down on any bike, it's going to bounce, right? But when I just sit on it regular here, it kind of just goes down. Now, I didn't adjust anything on the rear or any, of course, I can't adjust the front, but I sit on it and it kind of just goes down a bit and stops right there. When before it was almost like this plush, bouncy pillow. Now, when I come onto the front, same bit, like I press down here and it just goes down, but then you almost feel it like stop or firm up. Hopefully that makes sense right there. Again, when we do the first ride tomorrow, we'll be able to tell. And another significant change they made on this bike is they changed all the lighting over to LED, as far as the headlight, the turn signals, and then the rear as well. And just looking at them right here, you can see, I mean, it's bright out right now, and you can still see how potent those lights are. Now, one little difference I noticed here are the rims. They now have these Takasago Excel rims. The previous versions didn't have anything branded, so these are still tubed, and again, they still look the exact same. You just got this branding on them, and the tires are still the exact same as well, those IRC trail tires. Now, I know the main discussion topic of this video are the changes and what's different, what did Honda change different about it, but I also want to talk about the LS version, because I know a lot of you will be curious about that. And when you put a leg over this bike and sitting on it, I'm right at 6 feet with an inseam of, I believe it's right around 32 or 33. But anyways, flat footing it right here, it's like right in my wheelhouse. But it feels just like my Africa Twin, honestly. Obviously, it's thinner, but when I sit right here, I can dance it around, but it's right locked into me, if that makes sense. So if I put my feet down, it's right there. I did sit on a 2025 regular L at the dealership where I picked this up as well, and I was on my tippy toes. And I'm sorry, I just do not like that. I like taking my little dual sports, like, into the deep trails, just seeing a cool little path and bam, cutting it down there. With an LS, I personally feel a whole lot more confident on it, because if I get in a sticky situation, I can put my feet down. On a regular L, I'm like on my tippy toes, and if I get too bad, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just throwing it down, you know what I mean? That's the same situation I had on my Rally when I updated the suspension, and I just didn't like that. I love the LS and how low it is. Like, I would totally recommend you, if you're right at 6 feet or under, go with the LS. If you're anything over, sure, the regular L will probably be good for you. Now, another change that Honda stated they did on the new 2025s is the radiator position here. And I believe they stated it's for the heat dispersed onto the rider. And what I can tell you just looking at this, it looks a little bit more straight when before it was kind of at a slight angle. But I think that's going to bring more heat onto the rider. I don't know. Maybe I got it worded wrong where they made it straight to help with cooling of again, catching more air into there. So it's catching all the air rather than it being at an angle. And now this is a small touch that I personally really like, and that's the swing arm back here being black. I remember on the previous 300LSs and all the other 300Ls, they were all silver. So again, it's just a small touch, but it just flows so good with the bike as far as the cosmetics. And speaking of cosmetics, can we all just agree that this bike is absolutely gorgeous with the gray, black, and white. Y'all know that's my favorite color scheme right there. And this is just perfect. I absolutely love the way it looks. And that red shock down underneath just adds such a nice little pizzazz. Now, another little hidden thing they changed on the 25s here are the plastics, and not just cosmetics, but you can see they separated it into two pieces. And I believe why they did that is you can just undo this bit right here and get to adjust your suspension, your rear shock. Now on the opposite side, it is still just one piece. It's only on the right side where you have multiple pieces right there for that easy adjustment. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they changed this little toolkit on the side here. You still unlock it with your key over here, which I keep all of my paperwork in there and everything. But now the little lock mechanism, it isn't like a little deal that goes over there and locks over. You got the little plastic bit that goes in there. But right now, so say if you unlock it to close it, you just push it, snap it in there. Now this backside doesn't lock. You can still pull that open. You can't get the whole deal open. But before, I think it was a locking mechanism, kind of like an arm, when now you can pop it open, bam, and a quick, easy close. I don't know, is that new? I think it is, but let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Now, another little thing I noticed they did different up here is something underneath the display, like these little panels. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but what I've always done is, we all know this darn wire up here is always right in front of the screen. So what I usually do is get those little extenders that plug right into this little adapter, this little ring where these wires usually go through, bumps it forward, gets it out of the screen. But now they will not fit because it's hitting these plates down there. So what I did is just took these bits right over here underneath the front little plastics there, pulled that out, and then put it back there. Hopefully that's gonna be okay, because when you do go down, it kind of brushes on there. But again, it drives me nuts with this in front of there. So quick, easy solution is just slide it right up there. Perfectly fine as of right now. But those adapters, they don't work now. Now, another thing Honda stated they improved is the jerkiness of the throttle. We all know that was another big issue with this bike. Any pull on this or let go, release of it, it just threw you forward and back. Now, as you see, I have 0 miles on this bike, but with me riding it around the yard, I did notice a difference. It's definitely a whole lot smoother on and off the throttle, but more of that will come in the first ride, which will be our next video. Now, a good thing that hasn't changed on this bike, if I remember correctly, is the MSRP. It's $5,749 still, and luckily I found a dealer that was minimal on their fees. I only had to pay $500 of fees, and then of course I got to pay my taxes, but I didn't have all this other crazy goofy fees, some tariffs that some dealers are trying to put on now and everything. So that was really good. And again, make sure you shop around and find that dealer that's not going to scam you. A little bit of a drive is totally worth saving that money and get yourself some mods. Heck, take a little trip, a little family vacation, save some money, have a good time, and then again, invest in some mods or something. So there we go. That's the look over of the new 2025 CRF300LS. The differences, if you got any other questions or want more details, ask down in the comments. Always glad to talk shop. And again, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because there's a lot more coverage coming on us. The next video will be the first ride, the impressions, really kind of testing out that suspension and throttle response, feeling the difference there. I'm going to build this bike out, of course, and see some of the mods, and then go on some other rides and compare it to other bikes, talk about some of the differences there. So I hope this content is enjoyable and helpful for you. And again, if it is, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next adventure. Bye now.